Chris Mawata. Today I want to discuss with you a use case that demonstrates AI governance in action. I have been a learning tree instructor since the year 2000 and have written more than 40 courses for Learning Tree. I have also worked as a professor of mathematics at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga and published papers in mathematics, machine learning, and visualization. So let's start with a list of things we would do as we create an AI policy. We would want to establish a working group, educate the board, define the policy's objectives, assess ethical principles and values, evaluate legal and regulatory compliance, identify potential AI use cases and risks, establish accountability and governance, ensure transparency and explainability, encourage continuous monitoring and evaluation, and communicate the AI policy. As an example case study, HSBC Bank developed an AI governance framework. HSBC is one of the largest banking and financial service organizations in the world. It has operations in 65 countries and more than 40 million customers worldwide. HSBC primarily deploys AI in its retail banking and wealth management businesses. Amongst other applications, HSBC uses AI to promptly and effectively assess loan applications. In order to have checks and balances in AI development, HSBC created a Global Model Oversight Committee chaired by the Chief Risk Officer, and members on the committee have defined roles in the development of accountable AI processes. It has representatives from the Chief Data Office. They are responsible for company-wide policy, and it has subcommittees whose heads represent regions like US and Asia, businesses like retail banking and wealth management, functions like risk management and finance. Also, as part of GMOC, they have a Model Risk Management Team, or MRM, which in turn contains a Model Risk Governance Subteam and an independent Model Review Subteam. The Model Risk Management Team has a significant role in reviewing and approving AI models before implementation. It helps GMOC understand the risks of the model and ensures that there are sufficient controls to mitigate risks. It provides updates on HSBC's advanced analytics to senior management and board. The Model Risk Management Team created a framework based on the US Federal Reserve Board document SR 11.7, Guidance on Model Risk Management. The SR 11.7 series of documents provide supervisory guidance on model risk management and apply to banks supervised by the Federal Reserve Board and the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. So, what are the roles and responsibilities? We have the model owner, who ensures that the model complies with the framework and HSBC's standards for ethics, data protection, and bias. The model developer, who oversees end-to-end model development. The model sponsor, a senior executive for the business or function where the model is used. The model sponsor is the approving authority. Now, in order to carry out these roles and responsibilities, the personnel who do it do need training. And HSBC started with training of management to increase awareness of the risks involved when you're using AI-based solutions. They give annual mandatory training and frequent updates on the framework. They then moved on to the model developers and the independent model review subteam, giving them training on AI and ML model methodologies to ensure that specific issues are addressed in a timely manner. Finally, they go to all levels of staff and train them so that internal stakeholders are well versed with the risks that may arise from the use of AI-based solutions. They also practice vendor risk management. When initiating a new contract, the vendor answers questions on AI-based solutions that are to be procured. The model risk management team reaches out to the vendor. They include the tool in the model inventory system and kickstart the governance process. The framework also makes sure that they comply with standards and regulations. The independent model review team validates models with specific data management tests for consistency, completeness, transparency, accountability, statistical checks to ensure that the data is not biased, validation tests on the model output to ensure that there is no bias coming from the model itself. And after deployment, the model is monitored and validated on a periodic basis. The framework also addresses auditability. To manage the models, they must be auditable in 4 areas: the model design and performance, implementation, governance, and documentation. The bank developed a model documentation template, and this standardized model development as a sequence of steps. Developers provide information about each step to make it auditable. Another important consideration is the level of human involvement. This depends on the severity and probability of harm that the different AI systems have. The levels are human out of the loop. This is when you have low severity, for example, in retail recommendation engines, and you let the AI make the final decision. The next level, human over the loop, is for medium severity, for example, GPS navigation. And here the human supervises with the ability to take over in unexpected scenarios. And then we have human in the loop, which is for the high severity type of AI models, where, for example, in medical diagnosis, the severity of the harm done would be unacceptable. Here, the human makes the final decision. In the case of HSBC, they decided for loan applications to use the human in the loop flow. So they start with data that is on the loan application that is filled out by the applicant, and this is sent to a neural network, which is going to be our AI model. The results are an assignment of a risk level to that loan, and these are sent to the human loan officer. The human loan officer will then use other information and make a final decision. So HSBC developed its AI governance framework for their international business. What would an AI governance framework for your organization look like? Now that we've looked at HSBC's case study, please join us for more information on AI from Learning Tree International.